For any business, getting that first message from a potential customer, well, it's everything. But what happens in those first few minutes, those first few hours? That's really where the magic happens, or where opportunities are just lost forever. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you can make sure you never, ever lose a lead again.
So you get that notification. Ping, a new lead. It's an awesome feeling, right? It could be a new customer, a new project on the horizon, but almost immediately that excitement can turn into, well, a little bit of pressure. What do you say first? When's the right time to reach out? And how in the world do you keep track of it all? In a perfect world, a new lead means a super quick, personal reply, a nice, easy conversation, and boom, a new customer. Simple. But the reality? Oh, the reality is often a mad scramble of manual data entry, a follow-up call that gets pushed to tomorrow, and then the next day, and then that promising lead just goes cold. Right, so this gap between what we hope will happen and what actually happens, that's what we're going to call the lead follow-up problem. It's that stressful, manual, oh no, I forgot to call them scramble that happens pretty much every time someone new shows interest in what you're doing.
So how do we fix this? How do we get a handle on this process without all the stress and, without letting perfectly good leads just slip through the cracks? Well, the answer, my friends, is automation.
So what exactly is automated lead follow-up? It's basically a system that does all the heavy lifting for you. It gets in touch with your prospects using messages that are pre-scheduled and personalized. And the key part, it happens without you having to manually hit send every single time. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like having the perfect digital assistant. It's on 24/7, it never forgets to follow up, and it works around the clock to make every single new lead feel welcomed and important from the get-go. Okay, so let's pop the hood on this digital assistant of ours. From that very first moment a lead comes in, all the way to hopefully closing the sale, the whole process can be broken down into 6 really important steps. It all kicks off with lead capture. The system automatically grabs a person's info from a form or an ad, so no more copy-pasting. That immediately triggers step 2, instant delivery, a welcome message that lands in their inbox right when their interest is at its absolute peak. Then the real magic starts with scheduled sequences, which is just a series of thoughtful messages sent out over a few days. But, and this is key, it's not just some robotic blast. The system uses personalization, so the messages can actually change based on what the person does. Did they click a link in an email? Okay, the next message can talk about that. And when their actions showed they're really interested, the system sends a human alert. Basically, it pings you and says, hey, this one's hot, time for you to jump in. And finally, you've got analytics, so you can see what's working and what's not, and make your approach even better over time. So what does one of these sequences actually look like in the real world? Well, here's a super typical example. On day 1, they get that instant welcome message and a quick intro. Then, a couple days later on day 3, the system sends something actually helpful, like a guide or a useful tip. Then by day 7, after you've built a little trust, it's the perfect time to invite them to a call or a demo. See? It's a really gentle, consistent way to build a relationship, not just bombard them. All right, we've seen the how, which is pretty cool, but now let's get to the why. What are the actual, tangible benefits that make this kind of system a total game changer for a business? It really boils down to 3 huge benefits. First, and this one's obvious, it saves you a ton of valuable time. No more manual follow-ups. Second, it directly boosts your conversion rates because every single lead is getting that quick and consistent attention. And third, it creates real, personalized engagement that makes each person feel like you're talking directly to them. But out of all those great benefits, one stands head and shoulders above the rest, and that's higher conversions. I mean, at the end of the day, this whole system is built for one thing, to turn more of those initial inquiries into actual paying customers. And the impact is just crystal clear. When you put manual follow-up side by side with automated follow-up, the difference in conversion rates isn't just a tiny bump, it's a massive leap. You're basically swapping out a system that's hit or miss for one that is consistent, reliable, and gets way better results.
Okay, theory is great, but let's see this thing in the wild. A super fast-paced industry like real estate is actually the perfect place to see how this works.
So picture this, a real estate agent gets an online inquiry at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Now, they're probably asleep, but their system isn't. It instantly sends a polite, helpful reply. So when that agent wakes up in the morning, they're not starting from scratch with a cold lead. Nope, they're waking up to an already engaged, warm conversation just waiting for them.
That's the power of having something work for you 24/7.
And this really brings us to the most important point of all. With automation, every single lead gets the immediate attention it deserves. Nothing gets missed, no one gets forgotten. It's really that simple and that powerful.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. Take a second and think about what this could really mean for your business. What if no lead was ever forgotten again?